my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious. I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
Yo, what up? 1 2 1 2. Thumbs up. You can hear me? 1 2. Sounds good. Clean, crisp. How about now? What up? Good to see y'all. Welcome to the program. Let's go live with Lamont King. I'm Lamont King. We are now live, so let's go. Yeah, a lot of stuff to do, man. I ain't gonna take your time. Something like a podcast. If you're first time here, this is what we do each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 p.m. to East Coast time, 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. to 7 East Coast time. Shout out to everybody watching on the West Coast. I see you. And worldwide, hilarious commentary, trending topics, celebrity guests, interesting people. Good to see y'all. West Coast, what up? Hey, Haynes. Tell Karen Hunter, keep my name out her mouth. How about that? If I ain't on the show, keep my name out your mouth. She's probably watching right now. Now, I wasn't here Monday, not because of the Nets loss. I mean, Kevin Durant is clearly the best player on the planet, probably in the history of the NBA. So whether they win or lose doesn't matter to me. I ain't got a dog in this fight, horse in the race, no money on the game. But I wasn't here Monday. We played a replay because Friday's show was so amazing. All fun and games. John Watson, our New York bureau chief, who's on assignment right now, and Mr. Clarkson in Studio G down the hall. Friday was so amazing. We played it again. And I don't have to explain myself. However, Son's 8th grade promotional ceremony was Monday. Couldn't miss that. Knock it off. Welcome back, Coach Ken. And everybody, Midwest, I see you. So there's that. Yeah, I think that's it. Real quick, Money Wheel. Well, the sponsors first. Drunken Fruit. They were in the market this past weekend, making deliveries. Some people bought in. It's a nice situation going around. It's a good time, good season. Days are longer. You might as well spend that extra time with the sun up drinking. Peanut Gallery, what up? Also known as the nigga section. And also Paranelia.com. Paranelia.com for some fine, unique craft items there. What else? We clear that. We can get right to it. There's a few things I want y'all to see. Bear with me. The weather's changing. Traffic was hectic. I just ran in here. Got a lot of stories, but we're gonna do something first. Make sure I get all the housekeeping out the way. Yeah, because it's a live show. Don't trip. Okay. All right. Anyway, I think that was it. Something is going to hit me. I know I'm missing something that I wanted to say, but I forgot. So anyway, got a text this morning, personal text. Now people like to brag on Twitter, so I want to do that sometimes. So Roland hit me today, And it's like, we're doing the Paul Mooney Memorial today from 4 to 7. Make sure you tap in. Okay, he didn't say tap in, but that's what the kids are saying now. So I just wanted to say that. So they got this joint going on, and there was a big incident in DC today. Changed my whole route from work. So there was a big major infrastructure collapse, a pedestrian bridge. That's if anybody knows the bridge that collapsed, that's my route to work, right? So it's on 295, Kenilworth Avenue stretch of 295. There's like these 3 pedestrian bridges that have terrified me since I was young. When I was young, probably in the 90s, a raised dump truck was coming through. Low-hanging pedestrian bridges over a little stretch of freeway. Dump truck took the whole shit off, mangled some cars. On a serious note, a few years ago, somebody close to me had a friend whose mom died when a truck hit the shit and the sign fell off and crushed her car and all that. So these particular pedestrian bridges have terrorized me, traumatized me since I was a kid. It's to the point now when I drive every day to work, I got to speed under them joints because I don't trust them. Anyway, one of those fell today. Big news, gridlock all over the region, shut the whole thing down, north and south. Ugly situation. So anyway, I'm in the car. I remember the text. So I tune in, Roland Martin. And the memorial, man, this joint should be on TV. Shout out to New Black Media. It's a thing. Can't necessarily Google it yet. You can't necessarily be like, well, what is this? It's kind of like Black Twitter in its infancy, but New Black Media, it's an actual, if you could put it in a box, it's a thing. Anyway, this should have been on BT. It really should have. It was really good. And I'm driving slow, so the danger wasn't present. But I wanted to go back to some highlights because it's still going. It'll be going to 7 Eastern. But I wanted to highlight, it was like some funny eulogies, man. So we're gonna watch through that. I'm gonna try to skim through some of the ones that I remember from some of the celebrities. Good stuff. So we're gonna have a little watch along real quick from live from Hollywood right now, put on by the family and the estate of Paul Mooney, with a lot of celebrity guests and tributes to Paul Mooney at his homegoing. All right, let's tap in. Oh, luckily, I see somebody ask. I don't think anybody died today in today's, but a couple cars got mangled. But anyway, all right, let's go to LA. Let's watch along, shall we? I'm gonna go back to the beginning. First person, this is who I caught, Spike and Damon. And the reason why I'm playing is because a little bit later, Eddie Griffin roasts the shit out of Spike Lee. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's watch along, enjoy and observe.
At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium Mr. Bill Burr. Bill, are you here? Bill Burr, are you in the house? White absence is concomitant to white fragility. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on. I just want to be honest with you right at the outset that the program as structured is longer than a horror's dream. So we need to get through this.
This is so hilarious.
At this time,
so
in the
enjoyable.
absence of Bill Burr, I would like to bring to this stand one of the finest filmmakers America has ever produced, and one of the finest comedians and actors, and one of my dearest friends, and I'm just overjoyed to see him today and see them both. Would you please welcome to this stage Mr. Spike Lee and Mr. Damon Wayans.
Now this guy MCing, you know he's crew, Robert Townsend, Paul Mooney, all that. He has not aged. He has not aged like Oha from Coming to America. Ren Brown has not aged. That's why you shot him in the booty. That's who that is.
Spike took the old man route.
Shout out to Damon Stylus.
So
So when I saw my brother here, I said we should come up here together, and he was gracious enough to share this moment with us.
Spike look like an old Jew.
We worked together with our brother Bamboozle, and I remember the day we filmed him, and he did his, I don't want to say a routine, but his stuff. And the whole crew, the size of extras, were there. And he just put it down, and it was an honor for both of us to be working with him. And
is that a neckerchief or an ascot?
We've lost a lot of people during this pandemic. And for a minute, it was like day after day after day after day after day. And I hope that we all realize how precious life is. In a couple of days, we're going to reach the 600,000 mark for Americans. Our parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers, cousins, nephews, friends who are no longer here. And that number is more than Americans died in World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan combined.
Did you take money, Spike? Did you take money?
When we come together like this to honor our giants, let's also remember how precious life is. Because as we've learned, with the snap of a finger, it can be over. Take it over, thank you.
Damon looking like
Thank you, Spike.
Cornell
and
Future.
It is an honor to share the stage with you. I just want to talk about, because Mooney would want us, he's a comedian. Comedians wants the jokes. Yes, nigga, but be funny, homie. Be funny. So I just want to talk about the three things Paul taught me as a comedian. The first thing he taught me was how to be fearless. He was the most fearless comedian I've ever seen. We used to, back in 1985, we used to go up to the Comedy Store. He would go on last. We called it the Mooney Hour. And he would piss. He would chase white people out. They would get up. He said, "Sit down. We didn't walk off the plantation." And it was just so wonderful to watch him not care. The second thing he taught me was humility. I remember when In Living Color first started, taking off, and he was working on that. He comes to me and goes, "Homie, they'll tell you they love you. They don't love you. They hate you. Spend the money, enjoy your success." It's the illusion of inclusion, homie. And he was so free. Mooney was so free. He didn't care. He's the TurboTax. Free, 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 free.
That's funny.
And the last thing he taught me was how to rock a hat on stage. Nobody rocked a hat like Mr. Mooney. And I'm going to tell you guys something that y'all probably don't know. I used to see him every year at the memorial for Jesus Christ. And he would be there in the back of the room. And the first time I saw him, I'm like, "Paul, what you doing?" He said, "Homie, what are you doing here?" He said, "It's the truth, homie. It's the truth. I'm trying to get my ticket into paradise." And so based on everything I know in the Bible, I will see him there in paradise. I love you, Paul.
Now a word from Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
That's a tough one. I want to shout out every comedian on earth, and the best that ever did it passed away today. His legacy will live forever. He did everything from Richard Pryor's show to Chappelle's show. He's one of the first black people ever in the Writers Guild. Paul Mooney will be sorely missed and wildly remembered. I'll see to that.
Okay, one of the greatest comedians
ever.
All right. All right, thank you for your time.
Of course.
Sorry for your loss.
All right, we moved ahead. What do they say? We move ahead in the programming in interest of time. So the singer, he came up and he was wilding. He did a medley. But let's go to Pauly Shore, who's wilding even more. I think he was high.
At this time, I'd like to bring an actor to the stage, a comedian to the stage, a writer to the stage. His mother, Mitzi Shore, was everything at the Comedy Store. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Pauly Shore.
Yeah!
So I got the email from the Paul Mooney family. Thank you for having me. Respect, right? And I'm like, fuck, I have a show tonight. And then I said, you know what, fuck my show, because Paul Mooney would want me to be here. Because I live in Las Vegas now, because that's what happens when you're a perverted white guy living in Hollywood. Okay, no jokes. Damon said we could do jokes. Anyways. My name is Pauly Shore. My mom started the Comedy Store back in 1972 with my dad. My dad started it. My mom won in the fucking divorce. But that's another thing. I want to give it up to my mom, Mitzi Shore, for starting the place back then. And it's crazy. I see a lot of people here. I saw May May here. Give it up for May May. See a lot of familiar faces, and it's weird. I'm 53 years old now.
All right, I got to pause it. I'm sorry. This happened already, so it's not live, even though we're live. It's not live. But let's take a look at this. God grief. 53? And I'm like, damn, I didn't realize Pauly was that old. But then, when you look at Cuz, it's nowhere near, no way in the world he's 53. That man is 113 years old in the face. God almighty, no. Ugh. Get out the sun, fam. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Oldest, youngest looking dude.
Crazy, which means we're all fucking old now too, like Spike said. So the point is that it's crazy because all these guys like Mitchell Walters and Carl LeBeau passed away, and all my babysitters, the people that fucking used to give me drugs when I was a kid, are all dying and shit. And it's like, can we do a song? Are we allowed to do a song? Here we go. We are fam. No, okay, here we go. Anyways, I live in Vegas. I had a show tonight. I canceled it because I heard Paul Mooney say, "Get your motherfucking white ass to my thing, motherfucker." And I heard my mom say, "Go to the fucking thing, represent the store." So I lost some money. You know, as a Jewish person, it's tough. It's going to make some money. But anyways, I used to watch Paul Mooney back in the 70s, early 80s. He used to sit on the stool at about 1:30 in the morning. He'd we'd give him a Moe, and we put a straw in it, and then he would say the N-word a lot. And obviously I can't say that shit, but he would say, da-da-da-da-da, I do it so much my teeth turn white, or some shit. Remember that?
You say it.
I can't say it because I'll get fucked. There's cameras and shit everywhere.
You say it at the house, though.
So.
Definitely.
But Paul Mooney used to just flow, and that's what I fucking love watching him. He would just flow. And him, like Rodney Dangerfield, you know, he made it a little bit later in life, but I was so happy that Paul made it. I was so happy that Dave Chappelle gave him a shot on his show and respect and put him out there so then he could fucking headline and not open for people, make a whole bunch of money.
True story.
And I was so happy to see that. And he matured a little bit later on stage, and he became a huge star, and he's so well respected. And I came here because of Paul. I knew I was going to see his twins. I haven't seen them since fucking the strike or some shit. We used to play on the Comedy Store basketball team, and I used to see it. And they were on the fucking team too. And but it's so nice to be here amongst family. Thank you for having me. And Paul Mooney is in my heart. Every time I see a smile on the screen and I see him, I feel like I'm connected to him still. So he's not with us physically, but emotionally he's with us. I love you so much, Paul Mooney, and thank you for being with my mom all those years at the store, because when I think of the Comedy Store, I think of my mom, and I think of Paul Mooney drinking the fucking away, cruising around the hallway. And I love you so much, Paul, and thank you for having me. Thank you.
Started weak, ended strong, though, Pauly Shore. That's not weed, and y'all say it's cocaine. I don't think it's cocaine. In the words of Richard Pryor, and that boy's snorting that heroin, Jack. Yeah. All right, so this next dude is a comedian from the 70s or whatever. His start was a little rocky, but he does impressions of black people. So the stories he told was pretty funny. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna move ahead in the programming due to time constraints. But I want to get some of him too.
Movies. And Paul's one of these guys.
Wait a minute, let me see where these actually started making sense.
I was allowed to go on before him.
Okay.
There was a select few comedians that would get. It was me. Rest in peace, Johnny Witherspoon. Rest in peace, Shirley Hemphill, who is a good friend of mine, and also
he said he started in 1974 at the age of 17.
Hill would go on before him also in front of when Richard would perform there. I'd see hundreds of performances of Richard. You know, I mean, you know, is this something I said? He worked all that material at Sunset Strip, and it was fascinating to watch him work. But let me get to Paul anyways. Paul was he was insane. I mean, stuff people don't realize. You know, we hung out a lot. We used to go to the movies all the time after the shows. We go to the movies. And Paul's one of these guys, when you go, I kid you not, you go to the movies with him, he talks to the screen. And it's really embarrassing. Don't go in that room, homie. Oh, the killer's in there, brother. And
this dude, he did a whole set.
He really made me laugh. We were working in Las Vegas. And we went to the movie, one of those slasher movies, okay? And it's like, you know, it's all, the group of teenage kids are going to get killed by Jason or whatever, and there's this one token black kid in there. And when he goes, oh, I can't wait till they kill this motherfucker. Okay. The little guy talking about, hey, buddy. He's making fun of him real loud. I didn't mind him talking about it. So about 15 minutes later, the little black kid gets killed, and we're like, yes! He starts applauding in the theater. And people would turn around, shut up! You know, so he's pretty funny, you know. And Paul would do crazy shit. Not only that, with other people off stage. You know, I remember one time I was. These are stories no one's really heard. Well, actually, here I'll tell you too. He had told me, he goes, Joey, I met Madonna. I go, you met Madonna, really?
That voice is funny.
He goes, I had to straighten her ass out, homie. He went to lunch with Sandra Bernhardt and Madonna when she was like hanging out with Madonna in those days. And he said they were having lunch, and he looked at her and said, what are you eating? And she gave him an attitude. And then he told me, he said to her, look, bitch, I didn't ask you who you were eating. I asked you what you were eating. Straightened her ass out.
That's funny.
So, I mean, I don't know how long I can tell you a bunch of stories. I mean,
yeah, that's the same thing I said. They went to the movies, huh? That was their thing.
You don't mind hearing these guys? Okay. All right. So Paul would, one time I was dating this real cute, tiny, little, petite, light-skinned black girl for a couple months. And we'd go to the Comedy Store, because I was there every single night. I performed every single night. And, you know, we'd sit in the back there, and Paul would be the only black comedian to come and talk to me. The other guys would look at me like, what's he doing with her? How'd he get her? You know, I know that's what they're thinking. And you know that old phrase, once you go white, you know it's right. So.
This is the first time he's performed in decades.
So.
Can't get him off the stage.
She thought Paul was hilarious, okay? And Paul drove shitty cars, okay? He's this shitty Jaguar that was always breaking down. And then he had this big old green ugly Cadillac that ate oil every 200 miles. And so he was always asking me to give him rides home, you know? And give me, brother, I need a ride. So I'm sitting in the back of the club, you know, and there's a phone call. There's no pagers then. There's no cell phone. There's no internet. There's nothing. So I get a phone call in the booth there, and I go, who the hell's calling me at the Comedy Store? Brother, I need a ride. So he was down on Doheny and Sunset. I think he was having a meeting at Mitzi's house. She lived up the hill. So I go and get him in the car, and I have this.
The payoff is funny.
Okay?
Stay with him.
It's a little car I'm driving, you know, like a little Dodge Colt or whatever, and Paul wants to sit in the front seat. So he sits in the front seat, I'm driving, and she's in the back seat, okay? So all of a sudden, we're driving, and she's all excited that Paul Mooney's in the car, you know? So all of a sudden, she takes it upon herself to announce her ethnicity. And she says, you know, Paul, I'm part Scottish and American Indian and French on my mother's side and blah, 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 blah. And Paul just looks at her and goes, no, bitch, you're an N-word.
Now, listen. That payoff would have been such bigger if he had just said it for the sake of the joke. That would have been hilarious. Come on,
man. There was a
man.
lot of stories, you know, Paul, but, you know, Paul didn't actually, you know, we worked out in the Comedy Store for many years.
All right,
and
so that was
Mitzi would always have me go to La Jolla with them or Las Vegas with them, you know, because she liked to.
I think he did one more. Hold on, he did one more.
And I was like the token. It didn't fly as well because these jokes were that powerful.
Oh, no.
But anyways, in wrapping up,
right.
I just wanted to say.
All right, here's an interesting one. Jay Leno. Jay Leno looks sick too.
Store. When I got here, Paul was one of the kings of the Comedy Store. He would blow the room out every night, hilariously funny. I can remember when the TV show Roots premiered. I think it was in '77. That's when Paul was in his element. He took that. It was, at the time, for those too young, it was a hugely popular show about slavery and Kunta Kinte and all of that. And Paul would come in every night and go, white people keep apologizing. I'm sorry. I didn't know. He would do this hilarious. It was just hilarious. He would just kill every single night with that. Plus, he was also Richard Pryor's muse, you know. Lenny Bruce had a guy named Joe Ancis who was friends with Rodney. And Joe Ancis was not a comedian, but a very funny guy. He gave Lenny a lot of material. He gave Rodney material. And that's kind of what I think Paul did with Richard Pryor. I'd see them put their heads together at the Comedy Store, and Mooney would tell them something, and then Richard would go up and kill with it. And it was fascinating. But he was exasperating to deal with. You know, he was just... I remember one time he said, Jay, you got jumper cables? You got cars, right? I need jumper cables. I got a car at my house. It's dead. I said, yeah, I got Paul. Give me this. I give my jumper cables. 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. About 6 weeks. I go, Paul, can I get my jumper cables back? He said, I threw them away. I said, what do you threw them away? Because they didn't work. They're broken. What do you mean they're broken? They're cables. What do you mean they're broken? Well, I put them in my car and it didn't start it, so I threw them away. I said, did you put them on right? And then he gives me, oh, you saying a black man doesn't have to put jumper cables on? That's black people can't put jumper cables on? No, Paul. So, and it was just like the most ridiculous guy. I said, look, just... where did you throw them? I'll go get them. Because nobody had any money back in the 70s. You know, I threw them in the garbage, just threw them away. Look, I put them in my car, they didn't work. I said, well, what didn't work? It's just a cable. The cable wasn't broken. It goes from one battery to the next battery. I never got my cables back. You know, that was just sort of my relationship with Paul. Very cantankerous, but always funny, you know. The funny thing about the comedy business, there can be people you have nothing in common with, but you have this bond because you're a comic. Because I come from a little town in New England. I never met another comedian. And when I came here, it was all comedians. And Paul was one of those guys, just a quirky, kind of interesting guy. I remember one time I saw an old episode of Playboy After Dark. That was Hugh Hefner's TV show. It was black and white. And Hefner goes, we got a very funny young man here, Mr. Paul Mooney. What, Mooney? What? Well, I'm thinking, how old is Mooney? I was in high school when this show was on.
That's funny.
And we could never figure out how old he was, because he always looked great. Then he played Sam Cooke in that movie. I think it was a Buddy Holly story, so everybody was really excited about that. That was kind of cool. The last time I saw him, I didn't actually see him. I was driving through town, and I see a lady stuck with her car. So
this sounds sketchy.
So I help her out with the car, and she can't get it running. The guy says, well, let me give you a ride. Where do you go? She said, I'm going to this place. And she goes, you're the comedian, right? I said, I think you know my cousin or my uncle. I said, who's your uncle? Go, Paul Mooney. I go, oh, yeah, I know Paul. She said, how's he doing? She said, well, he's been sick. I said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, you got a phone number? I'll give him a call, you know. So she gives me a number. I get home and I go, Paul, Jay Leno. Hey, what's going on? I said, I met your cousin. Her car broke down, and I gave her a ride. He goes, I don't pay for her. You know, I don't cover her. I ain't going to pay you for whatever you did for her. You're not getting money from me. I don't want your money, Paul. I'm just telling you. You know, well, why are you calling me about it? I go, Paul, I'm just telling you, I met your cousin, okay? It's just a chance to touch base. That's all. I heard you're sick. You know, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. But Does my cousin owe you money? No, he doesn't owe you any money. I just gave her a ride from one place to the next. I couldn't fix her car. She told me you were sick. I just wanted to call in and check in with you. And that was kind of my last conversation with him. You know, he was a comic to the end, funny, a genuine original. I mean, he really was. It wasn't so much, you know, a lot of comics say things funny, a lot of comics do things funny. Paul said and did things funny. He said it in a funny way, he did it in a funny way. So even when he was like cantankerous and irritable with you, it still made you laugh. So, I don't know. God bless, old friend. Godspeed.
Now, I got to salute Jay Leno real quick and pause that. First of all, good gracious. If Metamucil was a person, he looked like every ornery World War II veteran that you come across at the hardware store. I fought for this country. That's what he looks like. But I got to tell you, I got a Jay Leno story in the midst of this. One of the funniest people I've ever seen live. Hands down. Period. Jay Leno, I seen him do an hour and a half. Unbelievable. Like, couldn't even believe that this was the same guy on TV. This is like 2006 or 7. Unbelievable. Hilarious. I thought it was nice. But it apparently, hasn't been in front of people in a minute. Can't tell a story to save his life. All right, let's keep it moving. Eddie Griffin is what you're waiting for. Eddie Griffin. He killed it. Hold on. What's this right here? Was somebody singing? Oh, yeah, that's Denise Williams. Let's play a little bit, about 10 seconds. All right, well, that's not what we came here for. Shout out to Denise Williams. Black butterfly and across the sky. That's what's up. All right. So Eddie Griffin. I don't know. Are you following his channel? He's got a nice little situation. He does it in his kitchen. Rare form. Somebody taught him how to do the internet. And go make sure when you get a chance, watch some of his videos. It's a thing. So he came up in form, singing, and then he went to it. So we're gonna skip the singing. We're gonna skip the singing.
And nigga, they had like 50 motherfucking meetings. The show started at 10 a.m. and me and Paul didn't go on to 9 p.m.
Wait a minute, that's worth hearing. Hold on, let's go back a little bit. Let's see where that one.
Me and Paul.
A little further back. All right, here we go. Eddie Griffin.
Well, now, since I've been here,
Oh, well, I guess the singer was the beginning.
I said, since I've been here, yeah. Everybody talking about Mr. Mooney.
We just got to sit through it.
Everybody talking about Mr. Mooney. Now there's many stars, but only one moon. That's what the nigga used to say. I said there's many stars, but there's only one motherfucking moon. Night. Oh, hold on, homie.
Is that a purse or a Coke bag?
Check it at the door. Now, we are gathered here this evening to say farewell to one Mr. Paul Mooney.
Mudbone.
Now, he was dear to us all. Yeah, beyond dear. See, the nigga, I don't know why ain't nobody got up here and said nigga, because that was one of Paul's favorite words. Nigga, 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 till his teeth turn white. I just said it today. Look how white my teeth is. Now, me and Paul, we went on tour one year. Well, we did it a few years, but, we went on tour this one year. We had a show in Miami, California. Well, it was in Florida, actually. But the liquor was good. So anyway, we was was in Miami, Florida, and it was one of them janky nigga production shits. And nigga, they had like 50 motherfucking meetings. The show started at 10 a.m. and me and Paul didn't go on to 9 p.m. And we kept telling nigga, you don't need this many motherfucking meetings. I'm trying to sell it out. Nigga, all you need is me and Paul's gonna sell the fuck out. So nigga, the motherfuckers, nigga, it got to the end of the show, nigga. And Paul went up. And I said, I ain't going on. They ain't gave us our money yet. Paul said, homie, I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna keep the crowd busy. You get our money. And I got our money. And nigga, I said, Paul, don't go back to the hotel. I sent my nigga, give him the keys, nigga, let him get your shit out the room, meet me at the airport. Cause these the kind of niggas that come back and steal their money back from us. Oh, I'm a sharp nigga. I said, nigga, nigga, we sat at the airport the motherfucking next morning. The flight wasn't till the next morning. We sat at the airport cracking up. Oh, homie, I'm telling everybody, Eddie Griffin is a nigga for real. I remember we did this concert to save Marla Gibbs' memory lane. Y'all remember the theater down there? Remember you was at there. This nigga used to play in my band, by the way. Yeah, Scattered Thoughts, nigga. Yeah, one time, nigga.
Scattered Thoughts. Great name for your band.
2 times. Nah, y'all slow on the motherfucker. I said 2 times. Niggas on the 2 times. God damn, I am. So we did this show to save Marla Gibbs' memory lane, man, and that's a show I did with the band. I did an hour.
Get to the story, Ed.
Comedy, right? And Norm Nixon was there, nigga, because Norm was in on the shit, nigga, putting the money up to save, nigga, and we made the money. We saved Marla Gibbs' memory lane. Me, Paul, Mooney, we did that. I don't know if niggas still own it today, but we did it then.
I just want you to hear the end. That's all.
I miss Paul immensely. That nigga had a smile that could light up a motherfucking room. Yeah, man. And that laugh, nigga. One of a kind. You knew when he was in the audience, nigga, you know, I'm like, what the fuck? That must be Mooney, goddammit. Oh, that nigga could take a drink like nobody else. Oh, homie. I said, this is the bougiest nigga I ever seen. I mean, the nigga was refined. Hold on.
It's the shades for me.
Nigga, his beautiful twin sons is here.
Oh, here we go.
Ancient looking niggas. And Paul used to call him that too. He said, them niggas look older than me, nigga. I'd like to thank Spike Lee for giving us a coronavirus update. I said, this nigga up here updating corona, nigga. 600,000 people have died. It's more than any war. Don't nobody give a fuck about that shit, Spike. This ain't no motherfucking infomercial for no goddamn plan. Different they playing this shit. Fuck it.
Oh.
It's about to get real, this motherfucker. Anyway, look at here. That's all I wanted to say is that, Spike, we appreciate you. You a great filmmaker, but nigga, speeches ain't your thing. Goddamn, this is a memorial. This is a celebration of a nigga's life. This nigga up here talking about 600,000 dead.
Get him.
And still more dying. Keep a mask on your face.
They ain't played the Wrap It Up music on them, did they?
Oh, Spike, you know I'm fucking with. I had to fuck with you, nigga. Goddamn.
Playing the music on them.
Look at here. To the Mooney family and all his beautiful children, and his wives and things. I love him, man. I love y'all.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, so shout out to the Mooney twins. They Dwayne, at least I know he pops in on the chat every once in a while. Shows up on my Facebook page. I know they watch the show. But yeah, so that's Ed. And then right after that, Steve Harvey, they had his video was messed up. All the money this man got, his video messed up. But he said some real shit.
First of all, my condolences to the entire Mooney family. When I think about Paul Mooney, I think purely in terms of legendary status. I'm not sure people really understand how great this man really was and how influential he was in the comedy game. If you are in this business currently today, you may not know it, but you've been influenced by the great Paul Mooney.
Absolutely.
I know I started in '85. I was directly influenced by him because, I mean, he wrote for so many of the greats. I mean, you can't. Flip was influenced by him. The great Richard Pryor was influenced by him. Everybody, man. And so those of us that got into business in the 80s, I mean, we was in the business because of Pryor. Pryor was who he was because of Paul Mooney to a great part. You know, this dude was that guy. He was the dude. I never met a person who was more courageous on stage, who said more things that all of us wanted to say, but for whatever the reason, we couldn't say it.
True story.
You can say sponsorship. You can say you got a TV career. You got this going on. But to be honest with you, I mean, I just think we didn't have the same courage he had. This dude was flat out unbelievable. My fondest memory with Paul was this guy named Frazier was trying to start the beginning of African American Humor Awards, and he threw the first one at the Hollywood Casino. And I was hosting it with him, and I introduced Paul Mooney. It was the daytime on a Sunday, and there was a lot of pastors in the audience with their wives. And I introduced Paul, and it was right about the time when O.J. Simpson had just been charged, you know, and he had just finished driving up the highway in the Bronco. Paul Mooney went on stage and started doing humor about it. I'm talking about one of the first people I heard doing anything about it. And one of the pastor's wives stood up and said, "This is so inappropriate." And Paul Mooney, in atypical Paul Mooney style, said, "I haven't even gotten to the inappropriate part yet." And I was in the floor, and he looked at me the entire time. And I mean, he went in. He went in so hard that eventually everybody in the audience was screaming, laughing. Now, that was one of the greatest, gutsiest performances I've ever seen, man, in a place where it just shouldn't have been. And when I tell you inappropriate, it was all of that. But he had that type of courage, man. And after the show, he said, I just locked in on you, Steve. I just locked in on you because I needed you. You just kept me alive. And that brother right there had that type of energy. So I'm going to say this. If you are in this business, you owe a debt of gratitude to Paul Mooney, because Paul Mooney had an influence on you, whether you know it or not. He was that dude. Paul Mooney was that dude, a living legend for sure. And I really, really thank y'all for allowing me to say that, man. Paul Mooney, one of the greats.
Yeah, real. That's real. Everything he said was real. And Steve know how to tell a hell of a story too.
And now a video.
This is my favorite one so far, from one of my absolute faves.
First, let me just say thank you so much for allowing me to say a few words about Mr. Paul Mooney. So let me begin. When I first moved to LA, Keenan Ivory Wayans said, "Hey Rob, we got to go to the Comedy Store. There's this comedian you got to see. He's absolutely brilliant." He goes on at 12:30. So I'm like, if this cat is so brilliant, why is he going on at 12:30 at night? And Keenan's like, "Rob, shut up. Let's go to the Comedy Store." We get to the Comedy Store. We go to the original room, and Paul goes on. And I had never seen anybody like him before in my life. He spoke an authentic truth. He made people uncomfortable, but he made us think. And I just remember watching all these people walking out, like, damn, white people was walking out left and right, and then Paul was like, leave. I've given my nigger friends enough time to break into your houses. Leave. And I was like, something happened that night. It was like my brain was rewired in a weird kind of beautiful way that opened my brain up. And so after the show was over with, Keenan said, you know, you want to meet him? I said, yeah, I want to meet him. And so we go, you know, back. He comes out, you know, and we meet, and then he goes, this is my friend Rob, you know, Townsend. He's coming to Hollywood, you know. And then Paul was like, just what we need, another nigga with dreams in Hollywood. Hi, nigga. And then he walked out. And then years later, I'm in Hollywood, and I'm starting to, you know, go through it as an artist, and I decided I'm going to make my own movies. And a lot of people said no to me, and so then I go to Paul, and I asked him, I said, would you be in my first movie? It's about a black actor in Hollywood. And then Paul says, have you ever written before? No. Have you ever directed a movie before? No. Have you ever produced a movie before? No. Either you're the dumbest nigga I've ever met, or you're a genius. Yes, I'm in. And then he says, you know, I want to play the president of the NAACP. I want to give these niggas a nigga wake-up call. You know, we won't play the Rambos until we stop playing the Sambos. The movie was Hollywood Shuffle. It became a big hit. And then HBO offered me my first comedy special. And I wanted it to be a real variety show. And so I said, I'm going to have all these comedians. I got Don Reed. I got Franklin. It was Damon's first time. And then I asked Paul to close the show. And this was the most beautiful moment.
Grew up on that.
I said, you know, Mr. Mooney, would you close my comedy show?
We popped the tape.
And he looked at me, but the look he had was a look that he wanted to protect me, because he's like, you know, nigga, you're PG-13. I'm on that edge shit. And I was like, nah, man. Nah, you've opened my brain up. I need the world to know who you are. And then he was like, either you're the dumbest nigga I've ever met, or you're a genius. Yes. And so then I tell HBO, and then HBO is like,
Paul Mooney from the comedy late night. Paul,
I said, yes.
Robert,
I said, no. This is my show. And I want him to close the show. And Paul turned it out. I think part of the reason I exist is that he laid the groundwork. He was fearless. He was that fearless, outspoken voice that I had never heard, and that the world needed to hear. So, let me just say this.
Get him, Duck. Today's your last day as a heartbeat.
Paul would always say, there's many stars in Hollywood, but there's only one moon. And there was truly only one moon. I will miss you. I love you, you crazy, brilliant motherfucker. Out.
That's tough. That's tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, now
all right, so then
Chris Tucker.
They moved on to Jonathan Butler. He did Chris Tucker. I forgot about Chris Tucker.
My love and condolences to Mr. Paul Mooney.
You know what? I'm going to, in the interest of time, I'm going to move forward in programming. His camera quality, you're too rich for that. There's no excuse for that. And he didn't really say much. So Jonathan Butler, Maxine Waters. No knock at Chris Tucker. I like Chris Tucker. But come on, man. You're way too rich for that. That's disrespectful to my viewer. All right, here we go.
I'm honored to introduce this next troika. They represent some of Mooney's comedy offspring. Would you please welcome to this stage Mr. Chris Spencer, Miss Tiffany Haddish, and Mr. Joe Torre, ladies and gentlemen.
How are you guys doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Okay.
You have a mic for Joe?
No. I mean, we could just stand a little distance. I don't have to project.
I'm sorry. She got a Grammy. She knows.
I'm known for being loud.
Yeah, and they don't.
Paul, you
so
you're loud for no goddamn reason.
So also, look at the body language here. I think I noticed something. I heard a story a few years back, but just look at the body language with 2 out of the 3 people on this stage. I heard a story. I don't necessarily know how valid it is, but.
We'll be the Pips. We'll be the Pips. You come over here, we'll be the Pips. First thing I want to say, where's Shane at? Shane? Nigga, how mad would your dad have been to know these 2 white dudes went back to back at his funeral? Who are those crackers speaking at my funeral?
Yes, he would have did that.
Wait, tell him what he told you about Guy.
Oh no, well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, unapologetic, you know how Paul was. And I mean, you know, we ran together for years. You know, he Smith's in New York, just getting learning from the masters. He was one of my mentors. But he used to always tell me when my brother died, you know, came to LA, he was like, oh, Joe, you gotta watch your brother. He's got the Belushi complex. He's waiting on you to die. He wants your career. He's going to, trust me. Trust me, homie, trust me. And I used to be like, what do you mean by that? He's like, trust me, your brother, he's got that look in his eye. He's waiting on you to die. Like, what does that mean? And, you know, and to this day, I think my brother still is waiting on me to die so we can get some of the Tory career. I don't know.
Wait a minute. So we're going to proceed. I don't know the story. I said I've heard some things. So there's no, you know, I'm not even sure what I heard, but I have heard some things, and this just paints a picture for me. The body language on this stage. Do your Googles.
Just funny stuff, but I mean, come on, man. We got so many different stories about Paul and Tiff.
Yeah.
Well, when you first met him,
I know Paul since I was 15 years old.
Yes.
I met him when I was at the Laugh Factory Comedy Camp. And I remember the first time I met him, he was kind of nice. He was trying not to cuss at me. And then as I started coming up to the comedy club constantly, he was like, yo, you back here again, little bitch? Oh, you really want to suffer, don't you, little bitch? You know, I don't want to suffer. I just really enjoy doing what I do. He was like, whoa. You know you loud as hell for no goddamn reason. And I'm like, no, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. I come from theater, and I tell him about like all the trophies I would win in these drama competitions. And he was like, that shit don't matter in Hollywood. That shit doesn't matter. None of that matters. People gotta want to come to see you. And then he would watch my set, and I would come off stage, and he'd be like, you only said 2 funny things tonight. You're not gonna make it, little bitch. You're not gonna make it. You gotta write more. You need to write more. And then I was homeless, and I was trying to hide that I was homeless, and I don't know who the fuck told him, but somebody told him I was homeless, and he said, come here, little bitch, come here. And I came over here, and he's like, yeah, so, you're homeless. I said, I got my Geo Metro, I'm doing okay, I'm in my Geo Metro. He said, no, you're homeless.
I remember that.
Now I got a sister, just had some kids. She needs a babysitter. You need a roof over your head. You move in her house, you take care of them kids, you got a roof over your head. And I said, oh man, that's cool. Where's the house? What does it matter? It's a house over your head. It's a roof. And I was like, but how many kids is it? I mean, if I want to do that, I would just get pregnant, Paul. I mean, I don't know. He was like, I thought you needed a roof over your head. I said, I got a Geo Metro roof over my head, bro. I'm good. He was like, are you arguing with me? I said, are you trying to put me in a situation that I want to be in? And then we went back and forth, and he was like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, okay. And then a few days later, I ran into Kevin, and he gave me better options.
Hilarious.
And I didn't want to be a babysitter. And it's funny because then I got married, and I was married to a man that had kids, and then Paul met him, and then Paul said, I thought your ass didn't want to be no goddamn babysitter. I was like, but he loved me. He was like, good luck, nigga. He was like, he said some things, I ain't even gonna share that because we still got a case. But he was right, that's all I'm gonna say. Paul was right. And then as I started to progress and started doing big things, Paul was very proud of me. He was like, little bitch, you did it. You did it. You did it, little bitch. And I was like, you know, Paul, you're the only man that called me bitch that I don't want to punch in the face. Because you my grandfather. You really my grandfather. I'm going to miss him terribly. I'm gonna miss running jokes by him and him telling me that shit's not funny. Nigga, what are you doing? Once I started making money, I became a nigga. So I'm proud.
You went from bitch to nigga.
Yeah, I went from bitch to nigga.
That's hilarious.
I'm proud. I'm gonna miss him terribly. And his son, you know, every chance I got, I thought if I had put them on my comedy shows, it would draw us closer. But he got mad at me about that for a little bit. But we cool. But I love his sons because they show me a lot. They show me a lot. And I put them in a couple of movies that I did with Walmart, and those movies didn't go nowhere. It's horrible. Like he said it would be. That's what he said when I did it.
Yeah.
You know that shit's gonna be horrible. Facts. Just speaking facts. And he always told me he was proud of me for being as genuine and as fearless as I am, and always speaking my truth. And he's like, never be afraid to speak your mind. You might not get no job for a long time, but at least you have your truth out there.
Truth.
And that's what I do.
Now, real quick, I gotta give her. Chris, I don't think he said much. Tiffany Haddish, man, I don't care where you stand on her, man. She's funny. I don't care what you say. Naturally funny. Whether you like her as a comedic actress or stand up, Tiffany funny. I don't care what you say. And I like this little in between stage on her hair. Most time in between bushes don't really flatter people, but on her, I like that. Better than the bald. And a little more creative and unique than the long flank. I like the little in between stage on her. She funny. And again, shout out to the Mooney twins because they be watching the show. But let's say that they never really in town had pop support, from what I understand. So I think that's what she was referring to. But had kind of a strange relationship, if you will, as far as career was concerned. But let's move ahead due to time constraints. Chaka Khan sang or performed. She performed. Trick Daddy would not be pleased. I'm gonna let this play because YouTube can't even recognize this. All right, due to time constraints, we move ahead further in the programming. Let's get to Lunel as we start to wrap this up. Always hilarious, Lunel.
Lunel. Here she is. Please welcome Lunel to this microphone.
What can I say about my friend, Paul Mooney? He was everything to me. We both came from the streets of Oakland, California, town biz, and he taught me so much. I have the name The Original Bad Girl of Comedy, and Paul always encouraged that. He never, when people were telling me to change or to pipe down or to not be so brash, Paul would be, fuck them. Fuck them all. You just do what you do now. Continue to be you. Paul and I traveled together. We slept in the same room. He encouraged me like nobody else ever has. I'm playing Caroline's in New York City in Times Square in about 4 weeks. Paul was the first one to put me on that stage when they wouldn't even fuck with me. We're not in church, right? This is Roosevelt, so I can cuss if I want to. I I always snuck him food because he was a foodie. When he wasn't supposed to have it, I snuck it to him anyway. He and I and Dick Gregory did several dates together, all through Atlanta, and I will not say goodbye to Paul today because his memory is so burned into my soul and into my... Am I having a stroke or is that light flicking? Does anybody else see that shit or is it just me?
I didn't get a chance to see. I didn't get a chance to see Linnell's. Due to time constraints, we're gonna move together, move further ahead in the program. I see this little piece right here. I want to see before we leave. I didn't see this. Him and Dick Gregory. Let's watch this real quick. What's up, Roland? Stand by. We're gonna have you going as soon as this is done.
What's the first thing you think of when you hear we're in a post-racial America?
America's not in a post-racial. That'll never happen. It's habit, and white people are habit creatures. I think people misjudge white people in a lot of ways. I don't think race is a big deal with white people. I really don't. I think it's all a pretense, you know, because they created that environment, the racial environment, you know, the jokes. I mean, if you watch white folks' old movies and old cartoons and old magazines and read their, you know, go read their books and from a long time ago, they've always made fun of anybody who wasn't white. You know, they've always got a joke out of it. They always find it very funny. They always find it very comical.
So when you flip it,
yeah,
you're saying,
I just think basically they can dish, but they can't take it. That's just how I feel about it. Or maybe they can take, I don't, sometimes they confuse me. Sometimes they laugh, they don't laugh. They, you know, it all depends on what makes them comfortable, what time is, what fits for them, what works for them.
When you talk about uncomfortable, I want to bring in Dick Gregory right now. Now, here's somebody, Dick, come on in. The two of you
We can tell how
can truly make folks uncomfortable.
old this is by
No, I don't
his
think so.
hairline.
I think we work well together.
We do, and you know, really, what is uncomfortable? You know, you go back and you look at all the...
Hey, Bob will come in, don't waste no time.
And you could tell when he's going to talk about a black princess walking down the street and saw this bebopper the other day. and so if you look, you see, people look at us, but there's a slew of young white and black comics that's coming out there. They don't care. They get up on that stage because what they're talking about is today's time. Today's time, a new rhythm. That's what they're talking about. And here's the genius. He brings from back there all the way up to here and then go beyond.
I just interviewed Ice-T about a new documentary, Something Out of Nothing, The Art of Rap.
These two
And he talked
together.
about, it's an art. You talk about genius. This isn't just you just hop up on the stage and just start spouting stuff off. There's a real art to what you do.
The greatest laugh you ever had in your life didn't come from professional comedians. It come from friends and relatives. When you're talking about comedy, that's a timing. That's a timing. And so when you look at what Ice-T on rap go all the way back to Africa. When there wasn't no instruments. Boom, bam, boom, boom, bam, bam. And if you look at the black folks in college doing the steps, the difference was in Africa, way back there, you rap what was happening in the local environment. They had no instruments. And then all the ones that come up, you hear people talk about these rappers, what they talk about. I'm 80 years old. There ain't been a new cuss word invented since I was born. So where did they hear it?
Comedians I talk to talk about your genius. Who is it today you like to listen to? You want to hear do comedy?
Today?
Today.
Nobody.
Jeez.
Nobody.
Him.
Him.
Man.
So this current generation. No. The reason I asked, because you were in your book, you talked about Dave Chappelle being on the show, things along those lines. I'm just curious, for you, who do you say, if I had to drop down $25, I want to go pay to hear that cat do?
Well, they're all dead. The ones I like.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you got time to go see somebody else's show, you ain't working.
Oh, man.
But no, they're all dead. I mean, Flip Wilson's gone. Slappy White is gone.
I ain't never seen this.
Richard Pryor's gone.
You see, I didn't like none of them. Richard Pryor. Slappy White was trying to behave. He come out with a white glove and a black glove. He had a white glove and a black glove.
What's the other one that used to sell drugs in Vegas? He's called the big fat one.
George Kirby?
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
They're
snitching?
Nigga came to me and told me he was George Kirby.
well, he didn't only sell drugs, he still used them.
Hey, man,
But
listen.
you know, it's like you. You know, what commentators do you like to listen to?
Nobody.
They're all different. See, when I was a little boy, I thought whiskey was whiskey. I didn't know it was bourbon, scotch.
Me too.
You know,
True story.
Wine. And then as you get up here, then you see the breakdown, and he's at the head of the class.
Gotta ask you this. And I did a piece in every magazine on the comedy show. I said, who was the funniest person in your life who was a non-comedian? Who was just flat out funny. One guy talked about a guy who was a tailor he worked with. This dude was just funny.
Uncle Dudlow. Oh, we got them in, all of them in the family.
Uncle Dudlow.
All of us have them.
For you. Somebody, friend, family member, whatever, at this cat, never been on stage, but just funny. Just flat out funny.
Nigga Bob.
Nigga Bob.
Nigga Bob was good funny.
That is.
He was just funny because he was Nigga Bob. And he just get up and just talk about everybody.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Nigga Bob.
You could drop a glass and he could talk about it for 30 minutes.
Gotta go political.
Golly.
You
No,
had
we don't have to go political.
one question.
Outstanding. Man, who even knew that existed? Roland's sitting on a gold mine right there. There's a little montage, but we're short on time. That I did not get a chance to watch, and I'm looking as I scroll. It's about 10 minutes long. So if you go to Roland's page, Roland, let's get in here. Pause. If you go to his page and check out the replay of the memorial, the Sons got up there and performed. The Mooney twins. There's like this montage or whatever that I'm gonna watch on my own private time right here. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I'm trying to get a still shot. There we go. So yeah. So on your time, just go to Roland Martin Unfiltered. No more commercials for him, but they had the live memorial today from 4 to 7, and the shit was off the hook. You just watch most of it, some of the highlights or whatever, in that little watch along. So I didn't get a chance to get to today's story, so we'll just bring them back on Friday because they're worthy. They're Friday worthy. Some interesting stuff I pulled today. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, man, and taking that little trip down memory lane, honoring Paul Mooney, who died on May 19th of this year at the age of, I believe, 80, 79, 80. One of the greats, man. So there's that. Live Money Wheel Friday. We got about $30 in there. So if there's no movement in there, no action, we got to keep pushing it. So I'll put this up right here for the newcomers. 50-50 raffle on Friday. We give away money live on here. Must be present to win. Go to Cash App, see how many slots you want. $5 a slot. We put you on the money wheel. Slots or pots. You put the money in the pot, it becomes a kitty, or you put on the slots, your name goes on the wheel. So do that. Let's Go Live Show. Beyond that, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and hanging out. Hit the thumbs up, share this, and bring somebody with you next time. I think that's it, man. It's too nice outside. Chill with all the talking. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag make a t-shirt. Too much talking, man.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.